Yo, what up? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Routed Up. And today is our mid-season show. We're going to go over the mid-season awards, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. We're also going to do our Thursday night recap. We're going to get into the games of the week, blowout notice, upsets of the week with JMIK Whittle right after this. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to another episode of Routed Up. We just gonna get right into it. J Mick, what's going on, brother? How you doing this weekend?
I'm doing good, man. It's starting, I mean, it's getting closer to winter and all that good stuff. I mean, the weather's starting to change, so I'm good.
Yeah, it's hoodie season, man. Hoodie season is finally upon us. It's my favorite time of year. I mean, obviously football season, but you know, being from the East Coast, the Northeast at least, uh, most of your clothes usually revolve around the cold weather. So, you
Yeah.
know. But anyway, we'll get into these games, man. Thursday night, the Jets over the Texans. Um, J Mick, why don't you start it off, man? What was your thoughts on the game?
I mean, my take on the game was kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. Like, like the first half of that game was it just wasn't good. Like there was just a lot of stuff that on both sides, on both teams that need from the Jets and the Texans that need to be cleaned up. Um, I mean, from a Jets perspective, I mean, they got the W, so I mean, like it's a W that they needed pretty badly because I mean their season was spiraling out of control. It was before the game, it was 2-6. I mean, now they're 3-6. Um, but it's I mean, the Patriots played them the week before. It's a lot of the same stuff. I mean, it's like like it's pre-snap penalties. It's I mean, like the plays coming in late and stuff like that. I mean, they were a little bit better in this game than they were the week prior. But it's a lot of the same stuff with them that haven't really been corrected. And I mean, I guess firing their coach was not, like this is not the outcome that they intended. But I mean, like Rodgers in the second half, I mean, he found a way to turn it on. I believe he threw what 3 touchdown passes in the second half. So I mean, he found a way. I mean, like the Jets defense, for pressure CJ Stroud, I think they got 7 to 8 sacks in that game. So I mean, they found a way to pressure him. And I mean, from the Texans perspective, this is a game that you got to win, man. Like when you come into, and I get it's a short week, you had to travel to New York on Halloween and all that good stuff, but you're a 6-2 ball club. Like you got to. These are the games when you face teams that only got 2 wins. These are the games that you got to have. And I mean, like that offensive line was pretty bad. I mean, like CJ was running for his life the whole night. Some of that was on the O line, some of that was on CJ. I mean, from what I saw. At times he had, like open guys that he just was holding on to the ball too long at times. I'm not gonna put all the blame on CJ, but I mean, because the offensive line was bad. And then to me, even from a Texas defensive perspective, I mean, once Will Anderson went out like that defense wasn't quite the same. And you got the result that you got.
Man, I was happy with the outcome. Obviously, the Bills are sitting at 6-2 right now. We lost to the Ravens and we lost to the Texans. So we needed both those teams to lose. And what would you know? Both teams lost. The Browns lost last week, and the Texans just lost to the Jets. Um, the first half, like you said, was a little, it was mid. It was bad football. Both teams looked like they wanted to lose. Neither team looked like they wanted to take control. Um, the Jets, obviously started showing some life. They got a couple of solid runs from Brees Hall. Then they got the big play by Malachi Corley, who then turned it into a um, super Jets play by dropping the football before he crossed the goal line for his first touchdown. And the ball went out of bounds. Obviously, Houston's ball at the 20. Um, it was shaping up to be another one of those games where Jet fans could look back and say, "Man, if we would have just did this or whatever, we would have had this game." But ultimately it comes down to who executed. And I felt like CJ Stroud, I don't know, this is 2 years in a row now where the Texans have gone into MetLife, played the Jets, and CJ Stroud has looked I don't even say he looked regular, he looked below average. 11-30, which is crazy. I understand that Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs are not there, but I mean, who's thumbing their nose up to John Mechie and Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, and Xavier Hutchinson and Robert Woods? Like, yeah, those are not uh, that's not the top of the line. I guess those are not the elite weapons that you would want to have. But at the same time, they're serviceable. And if you're one of the if you one of them ones at quarterback, you should be able to get that done, especially against the Jets who have had difficulty stopping the run. Sauce has been targeted, and Sauce has given up some plays this year. So I just think if I'm a Texans fan, I'm looking my team in the mirror right now and asking what the ceiling is, because like you said, this is a game that you're supposed to win. And when you drop games like this, you can't complain when you end up the 4 seed, or you can't complain when you end up in a wild card going on the road in playoffs when you could have had a home, at least one home game. So, but shout out to the Jets, man. They took care of business. I appreciate that work, and we can jump right into the game of the week, unless you got something else.
Nah, we can hop right into that game because like I said, Thursday night football to me was kind of mid until like the mid third quarter. So like, and it was what it was. So
Yeah. All right. So game of the week, man. I'm gonna go first. There's a couple that I'm looking at that I think are big time games. That I think have a lot of implications on the playoffs, and obviously, conference positioning, which everybody's trying to vie for right now. Everybody's trying to carve out their little path to the playoffs. But tomorrow at 4:25, man, Packers versus the Lions has got to be the game of the week. I thought about Sunday Night Football with the Colts going into the Vikings, especially after the Texans lost. This is a big game for the Colts, and the Vikings coming off of, I think they lost like 2 in a row, and I believe they just came off a bye. So uh, the Vikings looking to establish themselves again, but ultimately I had to settle on the Packers at the Lions. I mean the Lions at the Packers. That's a huge game. Lions best team in the division, best team in that conference. And the Packers are right there behind them. The Packers want to establish themselves as one of the elite level teams. I think at this point, um, what's their coach's name? Geez.
for what, the Lions or the Packers?
No, the Packers. What's his name?
And LaFleur. I can't remember his first name.
Yeah, I'm old, bro. I'm old. I'm having an old man moment, uncle moment right now, bro. I can't remember the Packers coach name, but
I think
right
his
now,
last.
but
I just don't remember what his first name was.
yeah. My bad, but
And Matt LaFleur.
the Pack. Yeah, yes, exactly. My fault. He lost his starting quarterback, Jordan Love. They put in Malik Willis, and still, like it was. I'm not gonna say there was no drop off, but I mean, Malik Willis came out there and played well. He held it down for them in the absence of Jordan Love. And for me, looking at where Malik Willis got drafted, how long he sat in Tennessee, and really it was just like this dude's career is gonna be over. He's gonna be playing wide receiver soon, or running back, or something else, or tight end, or something. To see him have a resurgence in his career, like he's gonna be able to definitely get another contract as a backup now, because he played well in the absence of Jordan Love. I got to give him a ton of I got to give him a ton of credit. Um, Packers, I mean, the Lions are favored, but this is at Lambeau. Uh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be kind of cold, and it's going to be it's going to be Lambeau weather. It's going to be Green Bay weather. I don't know how Jared Goff deals with that. No Jameson Williams, so that's going to be huge. And Jared Goff has been on a tear recently. Like I think over the last like 3 or 4 games or whatever, he's had like 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, or something crazy, something off the wall like that. He's been on a tear for the last few games, and yeah, they're going up against a really tough Packers team. They're going up against that weather. They're going up against that stadium and those fans. This is going to be a big game. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's my game of the week. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, so I was looking down the schedule like during the week, and honestly, like, I mean, I wanted to pick the Bucks and the Chiefs, but I don't got no faith in the Bucks secondary to make that a good game. So I didn't even think that one. I got to go with the same game. I got to go with the Lions and the Packers, man. I mean, like, you got two teams that essentially are, like when you look at the NFC, they're at the top of the NFC. Lions are 6-1,
Right.
6-2. So I mean, like, this is a really important game for, I mean, not just the Lions but the Packers, because it's like, you're in a situation where if the Packers win this game, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be tied with the Lions for first place. And I mean, depending on what happened in that Vikings game, if the Vikings win, then I mean, all three of them teams would be 6-2. So I mean, like from a standing perspective and a player perspective, it's important for not only the Packers but the Lions. And I just think like this game is going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, like the game's in Green Bay, so it's going to be outside, 4:25 kickoff. So I mean, the weather. I mean, it's not December, but I mean the weather is going to be somewhat of a factor. It's November, so I don't expect it to be a balmy 70 degrees out there. So I mean that's going to be a factor, like, and then like another factor for this game is we don't even know if Love is going to really play. I think they say he's going to go, but he's more like it's sort of a game time situation. What I mean, with him and his injury, so we're not sure if he's going. And then I mean for the Lions, I mean like Jared Goff has been playing really well this season. I mean he's crept his way into the MVP discussion because he's playing so well. So I mean, you got him and you got Jamar Gibbs, you got, I mean, like Montgomery, that they're, I mean, like they're like two-headed monster in the backfield playing really well. Unfortunately for the Lions, they're like wide receiver got suspended for 2 games. So I mean, James, JMO, so he's not going to be there. But I mean, it's not like the good thing about the Lions is even without JMO, they still got St. Brown, they still got Laporta. So I mean, like they have other weapons that I mean, can step up for. I mean, like him not being there. Like they also picked up Tim Patrick from the Broncos as well. So they got other guys. I mean, obviously those guys aren't JMO, but it's like, I mean, like I'm not gonna say they can go 1 for 1, but they have other guys that they can turn to. And for the Packers, I mean, like I mean the Packers need to lean on the run game in my opinion in this game. I mean, you got to try to establish the run. Because I just think, I mean, whether it's Willis playing or Love playing, I just think it's important for them because I mean, like, you don't want to be throwing the ball 40, 50 times. And especially against that line secondary because Branch as they safety, the dude makes plays every week. So I would want to kind of have, I mean, like in terms of like a balanced attack, so that you don't have Branch, I mean, causing fumbles and, I mean, picking up passes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like this is the game that this is the 4:00 game that I will be watching. I won't be watching any of the other games because I mean, like I said, it's the game of the week. So.
I think I'm looking at that game and like I get everything that the Lions have been doing so far. I just feel like this is a Packers like this is I feel like this is just the type of game that the Packers will win. Um, I don't think it matters who the quarterback is. I know that they're gonna attempt. I know they're gonna run the football, and they're going to try to stay multiple as far as what type of looks they're giving them with offense. But the other thing you got to do, I think, when you're facing a defense that doesn't really have pass rush from the edge that that you would warn against a mobile quarterback, whether it's Jordan Love or Malik Willis, is you want to extend the pocket and you want to take your shots downfield. And the Packers have the weapons to do that. They have, you have a Jaden Reed, you have a Romeo Dobbs, you have Musgrave, you have a bunch of these guys at receiver and tight end or Wicks and all of these other guys that you can extend the play and take your shot downfield and keep a guy like Brian Branch out of the backfield, out of the box, where he's going to make plays and cause confusion and cause errors. I'm making him have to turn, chase, and follow guys down the field. I think if you force them to play more of a if you force them to play a more traditional coverage where they can't mix things up, they can't throw a whole bunch of exotic looks because you're attacking them down the field. You want to make sure that they stay in too high as much as possible. You're going to open up the run game. The screen game should be available, the quick outs, things like that, where you have these young guys at receiver and tight end that can get open quickly, catch the football, turn upfield. And then defensively, I think this is a game that Jair Alexander and this Packers defense is going to get up for. Like not that they don't get up for other games, but this is a game that you set the expectations for your team. You can change you can change the view of your team by beating a team like the Lions. Like instead of them saying, well, it's the 49ers and the Lions, you beat the Lions today or tomorrow. The Packers got to get brought up in that conversation. Right, it's no longer just the Commanders being a great story and the San Francisco 49ers are going to figure it out eventually. Now it's when the Packers beat the Lions, the Packers are right there as well. So that's another thing we got to take. We can't take lightly. So yeah, that's the game of the week, man. You got anything else on that one?
Yeah, just real quick, so it's kind of what you just said. Like, I think a lot of the reason why the Packers aren't getting a lot of attention being a 6-2 team is because they in the same division with the Lions. Like, like the Lions is kind of like, the like everybody expect the Lions to be where they're at right now. And then you also have the Vikings in that division, which is a huge surprise. So I think the Packers kind of get left out sometimes. And like people actually kind of, like they kind of forget that they're there. And being
right.
And forgetting that the team is there, to me is kind of crazy because they only lost 2 games. One of the games they lost was the first game of the season in Brazil. And so I'll just, I'll just leave that there. And so yeah, like they're just getting overshadowed. They're inside a division where the Lions, everybody expect the Lions to at least get to the NFC Championship game, maybe if not the Super Bowl. And then you got the Vikings who have surprised pretty much the whole league because nobody expected the Vikings to be 5-2 either. So I just think they're kind of flying under the radar. And say if I was a player on the Packers or a fan, I'd be happy. Like I have, I have no problem with that because it's like, like when you fly under the radar, people not really checking for you. So and for my opinion, that's that's kind of where you want to be.
100%. 100%. Upset of the week. Who you got?
Upset of the week. So I was looking at it. The game I'm gonna go with the Bears and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are favored by -2. I get that the Cardinals are playing really well, but I just think the Bears, after that loss that they took last week to the Commanders with that, like Hail Mary at the game and them losing that game, I just think they're gonna come out inspired, inspired to get a W. And it kind of go into what I just said. They're also in the same division as the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. So it's like they cannot fall too far behind. If they lose this game, they'll be 4-4. While pretty much every other team in the division will have 1 or 2 losses. And I just don't think they can get into a position where they're like that far behind that they have goals of winning the division or even make the playoffs. Because also the Bears haven't played any division games yet. So I think the back half of their schedule is like stacked full of division games where it's going to be a battle for them. So this is a game they need to win. It's a game I think they can win. I think it's a game with the Chicago defense, which is really good. They got their work cut out for them though, because Kyler is playing some really good ball right now. But I still like the Bears to have the upset in this game.
Okay, all right. I got. Let's see if he asks me to repeat it this time. I got the Giants over the Commanders, man. Let's see. Oh, I guess the computer. I guess his internet is working good this week, and he don't want me to repeat that one. No, I got the Giants over the Commanders, man. I feel like I keep picking the Giants to win these upset games, and they keep failing me. I just feel like the Giants. like they do one, man. They do one. They always play the Commanders very tough. It's a division game. If I'm not mistaken, let me check. I think it's in MetLife. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's in New
Yeah,
York.
yeah, yeah, it's in MetLife. I mean, they are huge underdogs. Like it's like 65% of the money is on the Commanders. Like I mean, you gotta. I just feel like they played them well. The Giants really do have talent. They have a ton of talent on that team. It's just it's overshadowed by Evan Neal being garbage and Daniel Jones being trash as well. And then not re-signing Saquon Barkley is turning out to really be a mistake. But they are letting the young guys start. I think Gray is getting a chance to start finally. So look for them to be multiple again. Try to get that run game started. The Commanders defense has played adequately so far this year. They've been solid, but it's still not the. It's I mean like it's a lot of Dan Quinn's doing a great job. That's not a talented group. I think the Giants have an opportunity to really make to really mess some things up for the Commanders. I'm not a full believer in the Commanders this year. I like what they're doing so far. I think they're headed in the right direction, but they won a lot of games, very very close. I think offensively, Jaden Daniels is great. He's really getting a lot out of the rest of that offense. Cliff Kingsbury's doing a great job with that offense as well. But um, I just don't know, man. I mean, I gotta see. I gotta see. I still can't fully buy in yet. Um, I think if they go out and beat the Eagles, then that'll be all right. Okay, I'll buy in at that point. But tomorrow the Giants played them well. They usually split. They usually very tight games. I don't know, man. I'm just going to say the Giants are gonna get this one. Dexter Lawrence leads the NFL in sacks. Um, you got Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns on the outside. I think they're good at linebacker. The secondary is a solid group as well. I mean, you know, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, man. I'm going with the Giants to pull an upset off at home.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna see.
Yeah. Let me wait and see if I get a pink slip.
Yeah.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, blowout notice. Blowout notice. I love to always pick the Panthers for blowout notice because they're basically a sure bet to get destroyed whenever they play. But I'm not going with them because they're playing the Saints, and I think both teams are terrible right now. I looked at the Broncos going against the Ravens, but the Broncos have a great defense, so I didn't want to go there. I thought about the Bengals blowing out the Raiders, but I'm going with the Bills over the Dolphins by a big number. I don't know, JMIK, if you watched any of that Miami Arizona game last week, but my God, Jordan Poyer and Jalen Ramsey, look, it's a wrap. Like Jalen Ramsey, if he's hell bent on playing corner, he needs to go home and be with his family, bro. It's over. He cannot run with these guys at wide receiver on the outside no more. I think the man needs to transition into safety, and Poyer needs to transition to coach because he was getting fried last week, bro. McBride was killing him. It was ugly. And now, all week Dolphin fans have been telling me, man, Poyer's terrible, man. Poyer's terrible. Bro, we told y'all, the Bill Mafia told you this all offseason. You didn't want to believe us. You thought we was hating. The dude is geriatric at this point, bro. Like, I mean, Jordan Poyer is done. And, like Tua's back, but Tua's numbers against the Buffalo Bills are god awful. I mean, he's like 1-6, 1-7, something like that. He's got just as many interceptions as he has touchdowns. Dude got some fumbles in there. Like he's got a lot of turnovers. He does not play well. It's like 100 yards less against the Bills than he plays against anybody else. Like his numbers are ugly against Buffalo. And while I do think Mike McDaniel is a great coach, a great offensive mind. I don't think he's a great play caller. I think he's a great play designer. I think he comes up. I think his preparation, his scheme, excellent. But I think his feel for the game, in game, is terrible. He rarely makes good adjustments offensively, and the Dolphins have suffered for it. Josh Allen has feasted on the Miami Dolphins more than he's feasted on any other team in the NFL, more than any other quarterback has feasted on any other team in the NFL in history. Which is crazy because Tom Brady was 33-3 against the Bills, and for Josh Allen to basically outperform him against the Miami Dolphins is that's kind of nasty for Miami fans. So I think Miami's getting beat by 30, bro, at least. I would be surprised if it's under 21. I would be surprised.
I mean, I don't necessarily blame you for picking that. I was looking at that game because I mean, y'all beat them in Miami by what 21 over 20 points the first time. So I mean, I was looking at that game, but the game that spoke to me the most was the Jaguars versus the Eagles. Jaguars in the state of they trade away Cam Robinson, who's the starting left tackle, traded him away to the Vikings. Christian Kirk broke his collarbone; he out for the season. Brian Thomas Jr. They're not even sure if he's going to play. And so I mean, so you add all that in. The problem is with the Jags, their offense not even really playing that well to begin with. So you couple that with they got to go to the Eagles, and the Eagles are starting to catch their stride right now. Saquon is rushing for over. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like he's getting 100 yards rushing in like the last couple weeks on no matter who he plays. And then I mean, you couple that with AJ Brown coming back from injury. You got Smitty, Goddard, they tight end. I think he's coming back this week. When you put all that together, I just don't think it's a good situation. And that game is in Philly, so I mean, I just don't see. I don't see how the Jaguars are going to compete in that game. And I mean, I think they could get beat by 20, 30 points in that game. And I just don't know how they're going to be able to stop the Eagles, and I don't know how they're going to be able to score.
So you don't have any faith in the Jazz linebackers, Evan Ingram against the Philly linebackers who really aren't that tough.
I mean, but if
No faith.
Yeah, but if I'm the DC for the Eagles, it's like I don't got that much to prepare for. Like, I mean, if I can stop the run, I think ETN, he's a game time decision with what I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. So I mean, I guess you got to worry about that a little bit. But if I'm worrying about Ingram, it's like, man, like I don't got to worry about a lot of receivers on the outside, so I could try to double them, or I mean, because I mean, the Jag right now, I wouldn't play zone against the Jags. Like I would just play man. I play bump and run man on them, and I mean, like I would make their RC that they still have beat me. And it's not even just the wide receivers and the tight end beating you, but it's like Trevor Lawrence got to get them the ball too. Like that's the secondary part about it. And I mean, Trevor Lawrence really ain't been playing that well the whole season. So I mean, and I think he had a good game against the Patriots, and I think that was in London. Well, I don't even know if he had a good game. I mean, like they would just run the ball on us crazy. So I don't even think he necessarily had a good game. I mean, he had a couple good throws in that game. I'll give him that. But I just don't. I mean, like, say they had Kirk and say they had Brian Thomas was definitely playing out. I mean, like Travis Etienne was 100% healthy. Then I mean, I give them more of a shot not to get blown out. But with all that stuff going on with them, and I mean, like, I mean, the fan base talking about like the coach, they don't want the coach there no more, and all like they got a lot of extra stuff off the field going on too. I just don't think. I mean, like the way the Eagles is playing right now, I just don't. I mean, like I just do not see it. I mean, being a close game.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not denying that could be ugly. You know, we'll see what happens. The Jags can't. I mean, are the Jags gonna lose the rest of the games this season? Like it could be. I'm extremely surprised by how poorly they've played, and I'm extremely surprised that Doug Peterson still has a job. But let's get into these midseason awards. Um, we'll start at the top with MVP. Who's your MVP so far? for this season.
I mean, this is tough, man, because you got a lot of guys that's kind of clumped together. Like, so I was looking at it like, so I had like, my top three guys were like Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and I mean, like even through like Jared Goff in there because he's playing pretty well. But ultimately, I had to go with Josh Allen. I mean, like Josh Allen has had a couple bad games, but he's started to turn it around. He's starting to play really well again, like he did the first 4 or 5 games of the season. So that's what I have right now. I mean, like I said, like it's no, it's no clear cut guys kind of bunched up. But if I had to choose one, that's who I would choose.
Yeah. I'm there too. The Bills are 6-2, getting ready to play Miami. They're probably going to be 7-3 after tomorrow. That is ultimately what was the deciding factor because it was either going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, and they just lost to the Browns. That knocked them. Basically, they're knocked down to I think third in the conference. Fourth actually. No, fifth. My bad, fifth. They knocked them all the way to fifth in the conference. Um, and I think Lamar Jackson, he's actually having an MVP stat wise. See, like stat wise, he's having an MVP season. I do think what Derrick Henry's doing on the ground hurts him a little bit, but at the same time, um, you can't deny the numbers. He's playing at an all world level, uh, much better than he was last year. So you gotta respect that. But ultimately, it comes down to I think Josh Allen has looked great, and the team has looked great as well. So I'm just going with them. Jaden Daniels, he's right there to me. I think if either one of the top two guys, Lamar or Josh, were to falter over the next couple of weeks, and Jaden continues to play strong football for the rest of the season, you could actually see a rookie of the year and also a rookie of the year win the MVP as well. Because the reason why the Commanders are what they are right now, like you can say it's Cliff Kingsbury, you can say it's Dan Quinn, but ultimately, um, you got to give it up to what this guy is doing, man. This guy, Jaden Daniels, he's on the field making the plays. Uh, you know, that went over the Chicago Bears last week. Like, I mean, it kept him right there. He was on the verge of falling almost out of falling down to about fifth, but I still got him at 3, even over golf. I got him at 3. Um, you'll go offensive player of the year. I think it's Derrick Henry. This is usually a running back or wide receiver award. I was gonna go. I mean, Jamar Chase has the stats. He has the numbers to kind of put himself in there, but the Bengals is the record is not there. I think Derrick Henry has made the Ravens offense turned it from an average to above average group to an elite level unit. I mean, what he's doing on the ground is ridiculous. He's on pace for 2,000 yards. Um, yeah, I like he makes that group scary. So that's what I got. What you got for offensive OPOY?
I mean, we on the same wavelength. I mean, like I got King Henry, man. I mean, he is really, I don't say he's changed the offense, but he's made that offense, I mean, like even though the Ravens are dynamic with, I mean, like Lamar Jackson throwing and running it, he's made that offense more dynamic. I mean, because it's just like the thing about Derek is like he could break an 80-yard run at any time. And that's kind of the issue with, playing against him, where, when he's with the Titans or now with the Ravens, is like you're so geared up to stop the run. I mean, like you want to crowd the box, but if he get past that first level of defenders, that's it. I mean, he goes for 70, 80 yards, and I mean, he, for his size and his speed, it's just it's just unmatched. And just like what he's been able to do, I mean, halfway through the season, like he almost has 1,000 yards rushing already. And I think he had a streak where he had scored in almost every game this season, but I think that streak stopped last week because I don't think he scored for them last week. But every other game, he scored a touchdown in. So he's just been, I mean, like on offense, like he's just been a juggernaut at the running back position. And that's why I got him there.
Yep, 100%. All right, what you got for defensive player of the year?
Defensive player of the year, man. I gotta go TJ Watt, man. Like this dude, I mean, he's just like he's a game record. Like you seen it, you seen it on Monday Night Football last week. When the Giants were driving down, and I mean, he made the game defining or like the game ending play. I mean, he got the sack, got the strip, and he recovered it. I mean, TJ Watt is a demon on the field. I mean, I probably would have went with Aiden Hutchinson if Aiden didn't get hurt, but I mean, Aiden got hurt, so it doesn't really make sense for me to pick Aiden because he's hurt. So I mean, he's not going to win the award anyways. At the end of the year, so I went TJ. I mean, like TJ's a constant performer. I mean, he's very important to that defense because when he doesn't for the Steelers, when he doesn't play, they don't really win. So he's a vital part of that defense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. I'm going the same way. I thought about Dexter Lawrence here with the 9 sacks. He's a force when it comes to the run. But the Giants the Giants stink and their record stinks, and while it's not his fault, it is what it is. Like you kind of gotta eat that. Dave Jones is messing up your ability to get these awards, brother. But yeah, TJ Watt, man, he's a monster, man. I mean, he can single-handedly win you a game. The man is at 6.5 sacks right now, which is like tied for like third or fourth in the league with a couple other guys. And he has 4 forced fumbles. I think the next closest person is at 2. And in 2 of those 4, and he's got 2 fumble recoveries. He doesn't have any interceptions yet. I'm sure he'll get at least 1 or 2 before the end of the year. This guy he does everything. He's like in basketball terms, he's like the LeBron James with the Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant attitude. He is a problem. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he carries that, even though that defense is super talented, he's a force multiplier on that defense. You got guys like Dante Jackson, Beanie Bishop, with 3 interceptions each. You think it's because they're just in the right place at the right time? Hell no. It's because a guy like TJ Watt is causing absolute chaos in the backfield on the quarterback, stopping the run. He's great at edge setting, and it's not just that he makes plays; he makes timely plays. It's not just that he fills the stat sheet up. It's like when he fills it up. You need to get down the field and make a game-winning drive. You better know where TJ is because that's when he shines. Like he shows up and shows out in the most critical moments of the game. So I got him at Defensive Player of the Year as well. The Steelers would not be who they are or as consistent as they are without him. He is a absolute dog, and he's better than his brother. He's the better wide.
Yeah.
100%. All right, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think we're both going to choose Jaden Daniels. I mean, it's clear cut. The Commanders are what 6-2.
Yep.
I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league, and it's legit because of him. I mean, all you can say what you want about the coach. Like I said before, he's as advertised. He's outplayed all his peers. He's outplayed, most of the vets that he's that in the league as well. Like he's, putting himself in that top 10 range already, just by what he's able to do. So yeah, that's my offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like you said, I don't think it's much of a question. I think if you say anybody but Jaden Daniels, I mean, something wrong with you. He's just
Right.
I mean, the numbers he's putting up, the impact he's made with the Commanders, I don't think that you can deny him like of that award. Like I just think it's so clear cut. I mean, he's been so good this year. I mean, he's been so good that he's been put in the MVP conversation. And I mean, rookies a lot of the times aren't put in that conversation based upon. I mean, even if they're playing well, they might be like, "Oh well, I mean, he's a rookie." I mean, look at C.J. Stroud last year. Like he played one of the better, like rookie quarterback seasons that we can remember over the last maybe 5-10 years. And I mean, like I don't even think he was top 3 or top 4 in the MVP voting. So I mean, it just goes to show you how much of an impact that Jaden is having with the Commanders. And I mean, he's shown to be like he might be the best quarterback in that draft. I mean, it's kind of early to say that, but that's just the way it's looking right now.
Right. And then defensive rookie of the year. I mean, it's got to be Jared Verse. I think um, he's having the most impact in my opinion of any of the rookies out there. I like Brian Murphy as a guy that could be in this conversation as well. The problem is Seattle's defense just got violated by the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. So I mean, he's definitely going to take a hit because of some of that. And then they got beat up. They got beat up by the Niners as well. I mean, so you know, um, Kamari Lassiter, Latu, who's been a steady edge guy for the Colts. But sitting at 3-3, it's gonna be difficult to give it to him. Kamari Lassiter, like we just saw you get violated by uh by
And
Garrett 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 Wilson
yeah.
on Thursday night. So it's like I mean, Jared Verse is having a good year, but at the same time, his peers are not having the impact that you would want from a guy to stand out for rookie of the year. Like last year when Will Anderson got it, you know, it was an immediate impact. Like he made an impact when he was on the field. You could tell, 5.5 sacks, but it was the pressures. It was the key plays when he did make plays, and then so when he got hurt, you could see the difference. I think Jared Verse is along the same lines. Like he's pretty much holding the Rams defense together on his own. So um, shout out to shout out to Mr. Verse. And yeah, that's what I got. Who you got for defensive rookie of the year?
So the funny thing is, I'm gonna go Jared Verse, but I actually like Quinyon Mitchell from the Eagles. He's been playing really well, but I think it's kind of what you said. Like Jared Verse, he's not like playing like I mean he's playing well, but it's not like that impact that Will Anderson had last year. I think like we look at the rookie defensive players. I think he's just the most consistent player.
Right.
He's been consistent the whole year, so I just think that's why I'm gonna give it to him right now. So it's just like like for for me, I got a bunch of other guys I think that are playing well, but they're not playing well to the fact where I'm going to give them, like the award over Jared Verse. I just think Jared Verse is playing that much more consistent and better than the other guys. I don't think you can give it to, like either Quinyon or Sweater or Lassiter or anybody else. I just don't think they've been consistent enough as he has. To be able to say, well, like they deserve the award. So I got to go Verse on this one too.
And last but not least, we are going to. I mean, comeback player of the year. Like, who you got for comeback player of the year?
So I got Kirk Cousins for comeback player of the year, man. He's coming back from that Achilles. And as you can see, I mean, Aaron Rodgers had the same injury, and I mean, Aaron Rodgers has not looked that great the whole season. And I mean, like there has been games where Kirk hasn't looked the best, but I mean, Kirk is putting up pretty good numbers. He's kind of bounced back pretty well, and I mean, part of the reason is he's not a mobile. He's never been a mobile guy. So he's just going to stick in the pocket and like throw the ball to receiver to receiver to receiver. And for me, also, it's also got to do with the guys he's playing with, because it's like the problem with the Falcons in previous years was, I mean, there was questions about Drake London. There was questions about Kyle Pitts. The guys that they had on the team, people were questioning were they actually good. I mean, because the quarterback play was so bad with the Falcons. So I mean, he comes there. He's playing well. I mean, those guys are playing well. I mean, Mooney coming over from the Bears, he's playing. I don't say he's playing well because he played well for the Bears. It's just that the Bears quarterback situation wasn't the best, so it's kind of showing and proving that. And I just think, I mean, Kirk's having a really good year.
I was gonna go with Russell Wilson, even though he ain't really get hurt. He he just kind of got sat down. No, but no, in all seriousness, yeah, I thought about Burrow here. Um, I obviously Rodgers had an opportunity, but he hasn't played well enough. When you look at the season and the injuries and things like that, like you gotta you can't go with Burrow because of the record for the Bengals. So yeah, man, like I'm just gonna have to give it up, bro. Like I didn't think Kirk Cousins was gonna play as well as he's playing. And it's crazy. Like the crazy thing about Kirk is when he's back there, he's not running anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's gonna stay there and deliver the football. He's basically a sitting duck, and they still manage to be effective offensively. With Kurt being limited as far as like athleticism and things like that, he just throws a really good football and works out great contracts. He's a very very rich man, and he is not letting this Achilles get in the way of his money. Uh, Somebody brought this up on Twitter. They said he more good in the A than Ti right now. So I thought that was I thought that was pretty funny that most of these Atlanta rappers, and it's probably true because they are tearing it up. They're probably going to win that division because not only are they playing well, but the Bucks suffered some catastrophic injuries to their team that they got to work through. And but yeah, that's where I'm at. So, coach of the year, I want to go Dan Mitchell. I want to go Dan Quinn, but the Chiefs are undefeated, dog. And Patrick Mahomes is playing like hot roasted dog crap. Like he's leading the NFL in interceptions. They lost Rasheed Rice. Um, they lost Pacheco. I mean, bro, they're still doing it. I gotta give it to Andy Reid, man. I mean, they're 7-0, and I don't see outside of do they drop the Buffalo game? Maybe. I don't think the Texans are gonna beat them if they don't have the full complement of their weapons. Uh, and then do they drop? Maybe they drop a division game against Denver or the Chargers. Maybe. I mean, I'm not banking on it. The Chargers have. I mean, the Chargers just they lost to them already, so they're already down one, and then Denver is starting Bo Nix, so I can't. They may lose one game. They may go 16-1, uh, or 17-0. Like if they beat Buffalo in Buffalo, who do they lose to? So I'm gonna have to go with Andy Reid here, and I wanted to give it to Dan Quinn, but because I hate the Chiefs, but yeah, I gotta pay respect, man. Like the dude is doing this thing. You can't deny. Like they are decimated with injuries on offense. Like their weapons, and you know, it just managed to make it work. So yeah, that's my pick.
See, I want to go with Dan Quinn, but I went with somebody different. I mean, I went with Sean Payton. Like to me, I guess the difference for me with Dan Quinn and Sean Payton is like Dan Quinn has a top 3 quarterback that he got in the draft versus Sean Payton got a guy that nobody wanted to draft. Like, let's just be honest. Like, teams that were in
Right.
the top 15, nobody wanted their team to draft Bo Nix. Let's just be honest about it. Because I mean, like I was a top, I had a top 3 pick, and people were trying to link us to Bo Nix. I did not want that dude on my team at all. I'm not gonna front about it. I didn't. And
Right.
so for so for him to be able to take Bo Nix and to turn that team, because I think they're what 5-2, 6-2, something like that right now. I think they're 6-2 or something like that.
Mhm.
Or 6-2, 5-3. Well, like they're solidly in the playoff hunt, and nobody expected this team to be there. And it's a similar story with Dan Quinn. I think the difference is Dan Quinn had a lot of free agents come in versus Sean Payton did not have that many free agents coming to Denver like that. When you compare
He couldn't. Yeah.
well, because they kind of cut a Russ, and Russ is killing their cap. Um,
Yep.
so that's where the balance goes to Sean Payton for me because he didn't have those those free agents on not just on offense but on defense like the Commanders had. So as of right now, I'm gonna go with Sean Payton. I mean, the coaching job that he's doing with that roster that he's got is damn good to me. So that's who I chose to go with.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I didn't even think about Sean Payton in this spot, but I mean they not only did they have the rush situation, but I mean they also lost Simmons on defense. They lost one of their linebackers as well, I believe, the free agency, and then they traded away Jerry Jeudy. They still got Cortland Sutton, but Tim Patrick's gone. So yeah, like I mean, you bring in Bo Nix, you're starting Riley Moss at corner. I mean, you're getting the most out of Nick Benito and the rest of those guys on that line. Like, yeah, yeah, that's a great pickup, bro.
Yeah.
That's a great call. That's a great call. Yep. All right. That about does it for this week's episode of Round It Up. Any final thoughts, J Mick?
Man, just enjoy your football. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same, man. And let's all, I don't know what your faith is, but let's all say a prayer for Tua. Von Miller comes back, and you know, this could get very ugly for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. Now watch it be a one score game that we end up losing, right? Then I gotta come back and eat crow next Saturday. But
Nah,
yeah,
nah. I don't
enjoy your football. J Mick, you doing you doing the pod today?
I'm not sure. And I got to check with my co-host, but I mean probably so.
Okay.
And we just not and 100% sure on that yet. So
All right, but at any rate, check J Mick out on the check down with Smitty certified and a couple other, and they have a few other guests come through. I think it's at 11 a.m. on
yep.
YouTube as well, and then Wednesday 9 p.m. on YouTube. Myself and my co-host Beyond 716, we do the Coast to Coast podcast. We talk Bills, and we try to have informed guests come through, and we talk a little ball, man. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much, and yeah, I think we're out of here.